Oh man, I FOMO'd into a trade today. I'm gonna show you guys a trade, a loser. Can you believe it? I actually take losers. But what I'm gonna show you is how I manage the risk, right? Basically, FOMO'd into it, the market pulls back, and then at that point, I have to kind of justify, like, am I gonna hold on to the trade? Am I gonna move my stop? What am I gonna do price action-wise? We're gonna go through the whole trade here, show you guys a trade, show you the loser, and how I manage the risk to justify the means to the end, the ends to the means, something like that. Let's get into it. A loser, baby. We're FOMOing. Some insane action here end of day. Looking for this to push up. I want to see this push above 65s and then looking to get long above 65s here for the squeeze above the 70s. And I think up there towards the 80s. So I'm going to jump in right there long. My stop below this candle right here. So we're looking for a push up into the 80s. Very similar to the move yesterday. So looking to see if we can get a quick squeeze up there into the 80 level, possibly 90s, 500. They got a pivot point on the Nasdaq up there at the 500s. So looking to see if we can't get this to ride higher. We're trading the 3 accounts through Topstep right now and looking for this to squeeze up through the high of day, be in that 70 area, and then push up there, maybe 10 handles, 20 handles, depending on the action. So we're risking off the 64s or my stop at the 57s there to see if we can't break above the 70s right there. And then we rocket ship to the moon. So we need to break through 70s strong. I'm gonna move my stop just to 55, just in case this thing wicks down. We wanna be careful we don't get wicked out here. You see a little overextended, but a lot of momentum right here, bouncing up here. It's almost going into 3 o'clock right now. The VIX, everything's selling off. So watching here at the book map right now, all that liquidity sitting there at the 55s, kind of pulling the market down to it. We know that liquidity acts as a magnet, so the market kind of pulling down there. That 50 liquidity sitting there right now, all that liquidity there at the 50s, just kind of putting pressure on the market here. But I just wanted to give it a little bit more room here. Definitely a FOMO chase into this. I came back from the gym and saw this move, and I was like, whoa, jumped in here. A little late to the party. Needed more of a pullback. And there's that pullback here. Let's see what happens. We get back above 55s. Hey, if you guys enjoy these videos, do me one big favor. Hit that like button. Come on. I posted up my loser for you guys. Everybody always says I never post my losers. Well, here it is. I'm showing you guys what happens when you FOMO into a trade. All right. Market trying to push back up here. That 70 level on the book map still showing up there. So we like to see that 70 liquidity. Will it act as a magnet and pull the price up through here now? See what happens here at 65. I need to get through here. Watching the book map right now. Let's get through that 65s. On the book map, that liquidity sitting there, 65s. Let's get through that and then take out that. You can see the 70 actually kind of got less. There's less liquidity at 70 now, so there's more liquidity at 75. That would lead me to believe that we get this to break out. We're getting our breakout set up here on the 1 minute chart as well. Like I said, I was definitely a little early FOMOing into that. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you see these big moves, you're like, oh, I needed more of a pullback. That's pretty much just what we needed. So trying to manage risk. So now we're only risking $300 instead of risking, when we were down there below 50, we were risking like $800 per account. So I'm happy with that, just to move that stop up and make sure that I don't take on more risk than I need to right now. But we'll still let this, see if it's going to push here. And we might get stopped here. Just not getting through that 65. I think we're going to have to be more patient and wait for that next setup here. Let's see. Oh, gosh. It's kind of just chopping right there at that key level there at the 70s. 65 to 70. Look at that. Back up there to 70 now. The ES still pushing. Nasdaq chopping here. I think with the ES pushing up here, we should get this to push through with the Nasdaq now. We just need to see if we can get above that 65 level. It's got to like go through here. It's got to get through right here. It's got to go. It's got to break. We got to break 70 like in the next 5 seconds or we're going to get stuck here. So giving it some time, being patient, not going to cut it off just because we're up $100. Obviously, we can't just take the profit. We got to let this thing do its thing. We took a lot of risk here, or at least $800 in risk. So I want to make sure that I can at least justify the risk that we took to hold on to that thing. So I'm trying to just be patient here, but we might get stopped out. we can always re-enter later when we break above that 70 level. Because if we break above 70, I think we're going right to 500. So let's see what happens here. We get stopped out. It's now 3:03 in the afternoon. We should have pushed through already there on that attempt. This is that moment where you're just like your nerves and everything are just peaking. Like I'm kind of, do I take my profit? Do I get out? What do I do? Definitely was a FOMO here. Paid the price. And here we go, about stopped out. Oh my gosh. My stop right there at the 59s now. And stopped out. So we did what we had to do. And you can see, I think it just really came down to just a little bit too much of a FOMO. Kind of trying to jump in there. We had potential to get that breakout over 70. It might happen. So now all I got to do is just be patient and wait. But I want to show you guys that it is part of it. I managed the risk. Remember, we were risking almost $800. The problem now, like literally, it's going to stop me out and then go back up. Classic. But, so, we were risking $800 per account when we had our stop below the 50s. We only had to risk, $300 there on that move down. So giving back $300 per account, not that big of a deal. And that's exactly, we're missing out on this drop now. So instead of getting stopped out at the, 49s down here possibly, now we got stopped out there at the 58, 75s. So it is what it is. But like I said, definitely I would say if you look here on the chart, just kind of a bit of a FOMO into there. Should have gave it more time to pull back. I think it's more obvious probably on the bigger time frames, but just needed this pullback, a little bit deeper of a pullback, kind of pull back maybe into the 50s again, and then kind of set up for the breakout here, end of day possible. So definitely sometimes it happens. So you're basically, I'll be waiting for this flag to kind of form. Maybe it forms like that. Maybe it pulls back a little bit more, but just needed to be a little bit more patient. We got that breakout from the 33s all the way up there to the 70s. And I was like, oh, this thing's going to just rip up there to the 90, 500s. Who knows? Like I said, it's always, in hindsight, it's easy to sit here and say, blah, 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 blah. I could do this, do that, but kind of is what it is. Sometimes you take a loser, but all about managing the risk, right? We managed the risk. We got out, I think, at a pretty good spot. We can always re-enter if this does set up and want to go again above that 65s, which might happen here. Let's see. Having trouble there. So want to show you guys the good, the bad, taking a little small loss here. Not a big deal. And now we can just wait and see if we get another setup here later on today. But just showing you guys the good, the bad, and all that fun stuff. So again, the key here was really just kind of waiting for a better setup there. Waiting for that consolidation. We went up too quick. This was the entry. Like if you were going to enter this trade, this was the entry. Look at the difference in the price action. Getting really tight, and there's that expansion. Now it's like, okay, we're going to pull back here, and then we're going to make that move up from there. We're not going to just keep going. We pull back. So there it is. Showing you guys a loser. People are always like, you never show the losers. I'm showing you guys. Showing you. Here it is. Managing the risk.